Hello viewers, Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. I wanted to get on today and do a full moon in Aquarius reading. As we know, the full moon in Aquarius occurs on August the 15th. This, as I understand it, or what it means to me, is that this full moon is about looking back over the last couple of years to everything that has occurred, to all the lessons that we've been getting. And also demanding change. And when I look across the world and I see what's happening in Hong Kong, where we've got millions and millions of people protesting, and China sending tanks and armoured personnel to the border between China and Hong Kong, I'm reminded of the fight for freedom and liberty. And if we go to America and we look at what has been happening with the Epstein affair, with Epstein's untimely demise while in custody, our mind goes to cover-ups and corruption at the deepest government, perhaps political level. When I go to England, I see, or the UK, I see a Tory government pushing through Brexit and a possible disintegration of the United Kingdom, with Scotland now talking about wanting to break away. They have voted very strongly to remain in the EU, are now talking about a second vote for Scottish independence, and Ireland are making similar, I guess. They're protesting again. They wanted to remain, and they don't want a hard border either as a result of a no-deal Brexit. So, but you know, there's a lot of pushing back going on now. You know, in America, we see almost like a last gasp of draconian, this kind of older, repressive, regressive type of rule. And balanced against that, and this is what I think the Aquarius full moon is all about, balanced against that is the uprising and the upsurging in people demanding to know the truth. And I feel this is what the Epstein, what would I call it? It's more than a scandal that someone as notorious as Jeffrey Epstein could either take his life or be pushed to take his life, as my reading showed, and take all those secrets to the grave. We now have William Barr coming out and saying there will be a strong investigation, and any of Epstein's co-collaborators will be brought to justice. Okay. So what is this Aquarian full moon about? What is this Aquarian? I feel that it's about breaking free of the corruption that we have seen at all levels, whether that's corruption to take away individual liberties that we're seeing in Hong Kong, whether it's corruption in the highest offices of the land, in politics, in the monarchy. Again, Epstein has really brought us face to face with the kinds of corruptions that have been in government, in courts, perhaps even law, for so long. So the last 2 years has been all about getting a good look at that. Now, astrologers say that the full moon in Aquarius on August the 15th is a glimmer to the major planetary movements of January 2020, and I think they do begin on December the 20th, 2019. Now, I keep pulling the Temperance card, which to me is a December. It's balance. It's about bringing balance back. Again, with this full moon, we have these tensions between the last gasp of corruption, draconian, repressive, regressive, and the individual upsurge to try and counterbalance that. I see that somehow that will come to a head in December. But we're getting a glimmer this week with that Aquarian full moon, or that full moon in Aquarius. So I want to see what's likely to happen this week, because I just have a feeling that something major is going to occur in the next week to 2 weeks. All right, let's have a look. Aquarian energies. What are the messages? What are the general conditions? What is it that we need to know about this full moon in Aquarius? Full moon in Aquarius, August the 15th. What are the energies? What are the key learnings we need to look out for? What are the conditions going to be over the next week or so? Full moon in Aquarius. Okay, let's have a look. I'm using my 78 Tarot Mythical, Tarot of the Legendary. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so we've got loss here, unfortunately. So this is my feeling. I feel that over the next week or so, something is going to occur. This is the loss. This is the heartbreak. This is really the cleaving away. It's also the separation of the old and the new. And I feel that we are going to get a look at that. With this Four of Swords, generally that is a retreat card. It's also again this. I guess it can be illness, it can be loss. It's going to battle, and then what happens after battle, unfortunately. So somewhere in the world, we're going to be seeing this kind of condition. We're going to see heartbreak and loss, and we're also going to see perhaps what happens after battle. This card talks about the knight that comes home and he's either wounded in battle or he unfortunately is killed in battle, and that's why we have this retreat. So let's have a further look. We've got the Judgment card, the ending here, and this is the energy that I feel most strongly, that that we are in the end, coming to an ending of a cycle. And with that ending of the cycle, I feel that we have an opportunity to learn the lessons. And I see in this card the crows flying away, flying off. Crows are messenger birds. They carry the wisdom, including the wisdom of our passed over loved ones and ancestors. So I feel that what we're about to see in the next week or so, or even in the next few days, is actually going to be a little bit of a wake-up call for us. It's almost like the horn is being sounded, and we're going to actually take notice. And because we're going to take notice, the lessons or the potential lessons are going to actually be passed between us and amongst us. We've got the Eight of Pentacles, and this is always, I feel, so much of the last 2 years. Remembering we're getting a glimmer in whatever occurs over the next few days or week. We're getting a glimmer of just how far our systems have been corrupted by money and monetary agendas. This Eight of Pentacles talks about a legacy. This is in the past position in this reading. So this is really, we're getting a look at what has been manifested from that system. What sort of a legacy has been left? If you look at the events of the last 2 years, we're getting a very good look at the legacy that money in politics, money in government has left us. Do we want that legacy? I think what we're seeing now is an upsurging in the push toward freedom, the push toward individual liberties, and the push toward a rejection of this legacy. The Ten of Swords, unfortunately, it is a completion cycle. And so what happens at the end of the cycle is that we actually need to come to some sort of conclusion. And unfortunately, that can be a painful conclusion before we can actually start again. So with this Ten of Swords in the sky here, what I'm seeing is that the lessons that we could be seeing over the next couple of weeks are likely to be painful. So I'm not sure I'm not sure what that will mean, what that lesson will be, but it's sitting on top of the Three of Swords and the Four of Swords. So it's almost like there's going to be that loss, that breaking away, and we've got this retreat, really because of being wounded. And then we've got the Judgment card and the Ten of Swords. So unfortunately, these cards, fit with the kinds of conditions that we're likely to see in this Aquarian full moon on August the 15th. There will be disappointment for some. There is a loss here, and there will be disappointment for some. We've got the Queen of Cups, and I'm going to the American situation that we've seen unfolding over the last couple of weeks with the Epstein, I'm using quote marks, the Epstein self-harm. And the conjecture, was it self-harm? So we've already had a key warden being moved from that prison, and 2 employees, guards, being put on administrative leave. So we're likely to get some news around that Epstein matter, I feel, in the next week to 2 weeks, or even days, actually. We have Congress demanding thorough investigations. You can't leave a situation like this untold. It has to be investigated. The truth has to come out. These situations have a momentum of their own. Now we've got the imprisonment restrictions sacrificing here. So again, this unfortunately could be a breaking story around the extent of sex trafficking. I'm afraid to say there's some kind of restriction of females here. The King of Cups in the hopes and fears. What are we pushing toward when we've got this tension between the regressive, the repressive, the corrupt system, and the desire and the need to come forward and change it, not just in the US, not just in Hong Kong, but all over the world. We're looking for this more benign energy. So the hope is that in trying to weed out, trying to clean up the mess, that the legacy, the monetary legacy, the big money, the dark money, money rules, in trying to clean that up, we're looking for this new start with this benign king here coming forward in the hopes position. The Seven of Cups in the outcome. So it is all about choices. It is all about paving the way with the right choices. And if we make the right choices, and this is where it's very easy with the events of the last 2 years, to become downhearted and to wonder, where is the world taking us? Where is this monetary system taking us, this corrupt monetary system taking us? It'll take us where we need to go, from one shore to the next, providing we make the right choices. And that's what we're being called upon to do now. And that's why it's very important not to switch off, not to be apathetic, not to throw your hands up and say, this corruption will win, because we are on the threshold of change. We are on the threshold of change, and that change will only have the momentum if we are participating in seeing this corruption ended. The Page of Swords, I love this card. This has really been one of my signifier cards over the last literally year or so. It's about cleaving away, albeit slowly. Great changes don't come easily. Great changes after decades of a system that was spiraling inevitably towards this, what we're seeing now. Great changes don't come quickly, unfortunately. And so has been this cleaving away of the truth, but it relies on you. It relies on the choices that you make to cleave away to get to the truth. And we've got the Six of Cups always coming up again in this type of reading where I look universally, individually and collectively. We have to go back to the past to reunite with ourselves. To clean this mess up, we have to remember what it was like to be innocent. What we need to remember what it was like to hold high ideals and values. And so, unfortunately, this week, what's at the base of the reading? We have the Moon card. There's going to be a crisis of faith, I feel. There's going to be something that comes to the surface in the next week or two. And the Eight of Cups, there's going to be a loss and there's going to be somebody walking away. So I'm going to drill down because this is where I was going with this reading. I do feel that somebody is going to, as a result of loss, somebody is going to stand down. I don't know where that's going to be in the world, but somebody is going to walk away. Somebody's going to be forced to walk away. Do I think it's Donald Trump? I'm not sure. I don't. We live in hope, don't we? But possibly not. But I do feel that somebody, perhaps it is him, I don't know, somebody is going to walk away. I said to my husband last night, I wouldn't be surprised if we wake up one morning and somebody has resigned and we just get that news. So that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling that, but unfortunately I feel something. Let's have a look, a drill down on this Eight of Cups. Okay, what's this loss? What's this walking away? What are we likely to see? What is this Eight of Cups all about? What is this Eight of Cups all about? Can we have some clarity, please, on the Eight of Cups? Okay, the Three of Wands. So this is an overseas energy. It's a horizons, far off horizons. It's around expansion. And we've got the Justice card. Okay, so this is somebody significant, somebody who has who has connected throughout the, has been prominent on the world stage, and there's a justice aspect to this. So somebody is standing down. Somebody is standing down. It could be anyone from William Barr to, to Boris Johnson is skating on thin ice. Not that I think that he will stand down, but there is somebody prominent that will be standing down, unfortunately, after a loss. There is sacrifice here in this, sacrifice in order to achieve justice. The message that I'm getting with this Aquarian full moon, or the full moon in Aquarius, is that this has occurred because we have forced somebody's hands. We have forced somebody's hands because of the choices we make or have made. We have forced their hand because of our manifesting. We want a better way forward than what we've got. Okay, so I know you want me to ask if this is Donald Trump. So let's have a look. My feeling is no, it's not, but it is somebody prominent. But I'll ask, is Donald Trump likely to stand down? Is Donald Trump likely to resign? Donald Trump likely to resign? Donald Trump likely to resign, yes or no? Okay, we've certainly got loss here. But that's not a clear yes card. It's somebody undergoing loss. Somebody who's, this is surprise. We're going to be quite surprised by this. Somebody who's taken an offer to go. And we've got justice. Justice. Who is that? What's at the base of the reading? Three of Wands. Somebody who has links, networks overseas, commerce, expansion. And we've got the King of Cups here. Again, this came in the hopes position. Okay, I can't narrow it down to Donald Trump. I'm just what I'm getting that over the next, and I have to go with my intuition, someone prominent, let's just put it like that, is standing down. I have the Justice card here twice. I have the Three of Wands as well, twice, in two different decks. And I've got lots of loss here coming after something fairly significant occurring, including it could be relating to Epstein, that someone will stand down because of that, but I'm not sure. So what are the important messages for us to take or to understand in this Aquarian full moon? We are moving toward change from December 20th, December, January, key months. We are moving toward change. We are literally parting the seas here, and we're doing that because of the choices we make. We are moving from one unstable, dangerous even shore to another. And we're doing that because we are slowly but surely cleaving away to get to the truth. And we are desiring to go back, or not. When I say to go back, the age of Aquarius, we are desiring to reunite with a more innocent way of living, with our higher values and with our ideals. This blatant corruption, cover-up, draconian, repressive, regressive, authoritarian governments and regimes and energies, where we see the blatant, even murders, we are divorcing ourselves from that, and we will see a glimmer of it in the next few days or the next week. So I'm going to leave that with you, viewers, remembering too that it is all about the choices that we make. Thank you very much for tuning in.